But I think I'm probably in the minority, and most people take apologies, because we all screw up. They take them as sincere, and I get that. I can get that. I can be wrong. I can be too cynical.
I think people make mistakes, and people grow up at different rates and at different stages. And so maybe while you experience that with Cam, and maybe he does have certain characteristics about him that we don't love or think is very quarterbackial, maybe he's growing. And what I said yesterday is I just hope that he learns from this. I hope that eventually he apologizes and uses it as a way to grow. And he did. And I actually take the fact that it took him a little longer to make this apology and didn't do it right away when everyone was asking him to as a great thing. I would rather someone take their time to really understand what they're apologizing for before they just say, I'm sorry, because usually that's just a Band-Aid to fix it. I hope that he really looked at it, took some opinions in from people that he loves, probably talked to his mom about it, talked to his daughters, maybe the mother of his daughters, and then hopefully learned. And I'm going to take his apology for what it is. Now, moving forward, we'll see what he does, but I like it.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't accept this apology. I mean, he gave it. You would like to think that it's sincere. And a lot of times we talk about the maturity aspect of Cam Newton. That's one of the things that everyone always touches on. And I don't think this is a maturity issue. This is something that could have possibly been the way he felt. He could have truly felt this way. I don't know. I wasn't there in the setting. I'm not going to try to speak on how he feels. But if he did truly feel that way, as you just said, Christine, maybe now he's taken some time. He's thought about what he just said and how that could affect someone. And it could make a change in him. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, that's a good thing. Because this isn't about, well, he's young and we grow up at different times.
Right.
That you can be a 90-year-old man and feel that way. Mm-hmm. So that's what I like about the fact that he took his time. He made an apology. I believe it's a sincere apology where he did some reflecting, and it may change it.
To defend, I will say this about Cam, is most of the politicians that we see on the air are like 50. Like a young politician would be like 40. In athletics, it's very unique. The people we see on the air, we see them grow up. They're like 20. Cam Newton's been a public figure. Like I didn't really get on TV more closely to 30, so I had 10 years to screw my life up. With pro athletes, and this is where sometimes I can be harsh, is that we forget that the Westbrooks and the Durants, they're just kids. And the politician you see, or the businessman, I mean, good God, our president he's 70. He's been an icon in America for 50 years. So, yes, is it possible that Cam is like, said it, wow, not good, sleep on it, wake up, daughters talk to me? Absolutely. And by the way, you and I have watched a lot of this happen with LeBron. Like 15 years, we've watched him grow emotionally and physically.
I think this is a completely different issue, and I think that you said it exactly right, and that's what I've been saying too, is there are plenty of older people in life who appear very mature but just don't realize that sexism is still an issue, or they don't even know what that means. And I think Cam could be mature or not mature, and whether or not he knows that that's an issue has just kind of come to light for him. And a lot of times we forget to realize that something is an issue just because it doesn't hit us in the head or face us every single day. So now that it is part of his life and now that it's been exposed to so many people, I hope everybody can take that in.
Yeah, I really like y'all's point that he may have had some unrecognized sexism that basically within him. And this was the knock on the head saying, hey, man, this is what everybody's talking about. And now the light goes off in his head and he figures it out. The thing in the apology that rang truest to me where I was like, man, I like this, is when he said the joke's on me. And that to me is like him saying, oh, I was the idiot. The epiphany just happened that, oh, this is what everyone's talking about.
Well, most people don't even realize, like, I'll admit, until I was 29, I didn't even realize that sexism was still a thing. I thought men and women were treated completely fairly. And I think if you ask most women under the age of 35, even women, they don't realize that it's an issue until it affects you directly.
All right, to Dallas, where the Cowboys welcome the Packers Sunday in a rematch of last year's epic playoff showdown. So far this year, Dallas's offense has taken a big step back with the rushing attack dropping from 2nd to 14th, and Dak and Dez still struggling to connect. Cowheard, do you believe that Dallas's offense will get back on track against Green Bay?
Yeah, and I feel really strongly about this. I've talked about this with Christine on our show. I'm a believer in ingredients. If the ingredients
Me too.
If the ingredients are good, you can overcook the cake. But eventually you'll get it right if you have the right ingredients. If I said to you there's a team, they have a terrific offensive line, they have maybe the best young running back in the game, I think they have a very good offensive-leaning staff. They have a franchise quarterback. They've got a pass rush. You'd be like, that's pretty good ingredients. That's what Dallas has. Now, they're not as good at receiver as I think we think they are. I think Dez is the issue, not Dak. But there's a lot of ingredients here to like. I think it's a smart staff. Maybe not Belichick and Andy Reid, but it's a smart staff. And I get a lot of good ingredients. They now have a pass rush. I like that, too.
Look, the Packers and Aaron Rodgers are pretty good in Dallas, pretty good in this spot. I think there's a belief that the Packers' defense is actually worse than what the numbers show. We think of the Packers having this terrible defense. The numbers, actually, their pass defense has been pretty good this year, and they played a pretty decent schedule. So I'm not expecting, and I was a guy that started the season, Dak and Dez are going to go to the next level. I'm not a guy that's buying that. Eric, you weren't here earlier in the week. I was saying your name a couple days ago. Jason Garrett, I think, is an issue. And so I'm not expecting some miraculous recovery from this offense because I don't know if Dak, Dez, Zeke, are they getting a lot of help from the sidelines?
It's a front-running offense. So, and by that I mean if they can control the scoreboard, can control the pace of the game, then you're right. Jason Garrett looks like a really good coach. When you can hand the ball to Zeke, you got the play action going, everything works out perfectly. That's the meal that they want to make with those ingredients. When that doesn't happen, like playing this team, Green Bay, which scores quickly. Now you have to take away the running game. You got to throw the ball. You just said they don't have the passing game. They don't necessarily have the receivers. You still have a young quarterback trying to figure it out, and you don't have a coach that's really moving the chess pieces around, and that causes a problem.
You know what I was thinking? Jason Garrett never had to eat a sugar sandwich.
Sugar
sandwich. When you put a little butter on some bread and some sugar sandwich. Yeah. Oh. He ain't never had to do that. He ain't never fried bologna, and he ain't done that.
With sugar on a sandwich?
Yes.
You'll have to make me one of those.
Yeah. No, you don't.
No, you don't want one.
Oh, okay, don't make me one of those. I got to go with the Packers too. They're 3-0 at Jerry's World. I think it's a great opportunity. If you're hungry, you can go in and you're just seeing the Cowboys' deficiencies and you want to eat, right? And also, like you mentioned, the Packers defense hasn't been very great in the last few years, but now they're 6th in the league. Also, when you look at Zeke, the last year his on first down average 5.5 yards per rush. This year 2.5 yards per rush. So I think they're going to be hungry. I choose the Packers.
Yeah, I will say this: Mike Daniels, their best defensive guy for Green Bay up front. Is he going to play? I think that's an issue. I think the way to beat Dallas, to your point, Eric, the way to beat Dallas is essentially control them early in the downs and force them Dak into 3rd and longs, and that's what teams are doing. It should also be noted, Dallas has played some pretty good defenses. They've played the Giants' defensive front. They've played Denver. Over the next month, they play a lot of San Francisco and Green Bay's. I think they're going to rebound.
I'm really surprised that you're there, though, Colin. Aaron Rodgers versus Dak Prescott right now?
Okay, but if Aaron doesn't get the ball because Dallas controls it and picks up 6 yards on first down, Aaron doesn't have the football. I like Dallas.
Well, that's Dallas' formula. That's how they won.
That's what they won last. That's how they did it, and I think they'll rebound against them.
Well rested. Does that help them?
Being well rested.
You got extra days.
It really doesn't matter. I don't think that's going to make that much of a deal because it's not going to change the game plan that much. It's not going to change what either of these offenses really want to do and how they're going to attack one another.
Look, Eric's point, which I really agree with, if the Packers get any kind of lead,
it completely changes.
And then all of a sudden, Mike McCarthy's a much better coach than Jason Garrett, and the Cowboys can't catch up.
Welcome back, Eric Dickerson. Eric Davis are here. Let's return to the National Football League. A couple of surprising teams, the Bills and the Rams, both sitting atop their divisions at 3-1. Both teams look rejuvenated under new head coaches. Sean McDermott's tightening up the Bills' defense, and Sean McVay is jump-starting Jared Goff and the Rams' offense. Whitlock, who do you have more confidence in going forward this year, Bills-Rams?
Like both teams, think they both will make the playoffs. But I have more confidence actually in the Buffalo Bills, and that's because defense is an every week thing. I don't think defense is a roller coaster, and they got the number 1 scoring defense in the league. I watched them play the Atlanta Falcons and what I thought was the best offense in the league. I believe in Buffalo's defense. I believe that the New England Patriots have taken a step back. I believe the Dolphins and the Jets are the Dolphins and the Jets. I think the Bills are going to win their division. I got a bit more confidence in the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I think they're both legit. I think the Rams, though, have a little more diversity offensively. I think they can run it. I think they can pass it. I think at key positions, quarterback, I like the Rams. Left tackle, receiving unit, running back. I also think defensive interior line, Aaron Donald's probably the best player in the league. I think they're both legitimate. I don't think this is fool's gold. The Rams last year were 3-1. That was fool's gold. The one thing I'd say about the Bills, they're pretty one-dimensional offensively. They're running about 57% of the time, which leads the league. They can throw on, second and short, third and short. Can Buffalo throw when they have to throw? I don't know if they can. So I'd take a slight edge Rams.
Colin, you looking at my notes over here? I mean, you said everything I was going to say. Golly, man, you stole my stuff. I got to go with the Rams. They've got the best offensive line right now. I couldn't say that last year. They've got the best defense. They've got the best running back. They've got the best punter. They've
Between
got the
two
best,
teams.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they got the best kicker. I mean, they've got the best offensive weapons. They got the best running back. I mean, last year, talking offense with the Rams was like talking grade school football. I mean, this year, they're an exciting football team to watch. And I did not think this year they would be 3-1. And they're a real 3-1 football team with a lot of weapons.
With great special teams and a really profound offense. You can't score this many points 4 weeks in a row. Some of this is not like magic. This is happening.
Well, we had this talk in preseason, and I was saying I thought that the Rams would be one of the teams that had a possible. Remember this conversation?
Yes.
I said I thought they'd have a possibility of fighting for a playoff spot. That this team had a chance to do it when you saw some of the pieces that were put in, and I knew that the guy was a good coach. And I said, let's just wait to see what the quarterback can do. Well, we see that he can score. I hear what you're saying. He did. You talk about the better defense and all that stuff. Yards don't win, and they're putting up a lot of yards and a lot of pretty plays. Yards don't win games, points win games. And the Rams are giving up too many points defensively. They haven't won they got to score 30 points to win.
Right now.
Right now. That's my point.
Right now.
Okay, but Buffalo doesn't have to do that. So, you see, and that's the thing. Until you get the defense fixed, I'm still worried. They're going to win games. They're going to be in it. But you can't expect to be in a shootout every week. And this defensive... The defensive personnel is not playing as well as it should
The Rams'
be.
corners are weak.
I do agree with that. But, they went from a 4-3 to a 3-4. That's a change. I mean, Wade Phillips knows what he's doing. I think it's going to take last week when you saw him play the Dallas Cowboys, the second half, that second half, they shut the Cowboys down in Dallas. So you can see it's coming. It takes some. You're defensive.
I know it takes some while. It takes some time, but you play multiple fronts all the time, and these guys are accustomed to doing that, and I see that. But still, there are a lot of guys in different positions right now. So but that's my only concern. The Rams have a chance because they can score, but you can't give up 30 points a game, man.
And my point, since we all kind of agree both teams are legitimate, both teams are playoff contenders. This is my point with Buffalo. I think Buffalo is the team of these two that could win a game in the postseason because of their defense. Colin, you talked about their running game and they're a little reliant on their running game. That's complimentary football. They're playing great defense. They're keeping their defense off the field a little bit and trying to help Tyrod Taylor by LaShawn McCoy is still a pretty good running back and sticking with that running game. I like Buffalo's defense in a playoff game more than I like the Rams' defense or the Rams outscoring someone in the playoff game.
Just say this, Rams special teams.
It's very good.
They have the best kicker punter
saw it
in the
last
league.
week.
And I mean, they are.
You saw it last week.
Well,
and that's all we had to brag on last year was our punters and gunners. I mean, you saw Bill Belichick say, man, you saw those punters and gunners?
Well, I mean, this sounds so contradictory to what I'm saying right now, but I believe because the Rams in the playoffs, because they can score points, they have a better chance. Because everyone always talks about defenses win championships. No, the team that scores the most points wins a championship.
Think when the Rams was the greatest show on turf in St. Louis, they didn't have a great defense.
But they didn't have a defense that was giving up 30 points a game, too. That's what they have to stop doing.
I'll say the same thing. They're still learning that defense. You know it. You know it is. They're still learning that defense. And they do play multiple fronts.
I'm sitting here. The Broncos won a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning basically in a wheelchair.
A great defense can win you a championship.
Yeah, that was an all-time.
That was an all-time. Seattle's defense, the Ravens defense,
The Bears.
By Pittsburgh. A great defense can win it.
Rams are the second youngest team in this league. You better buy season tickets now.